His bold and resonant voice has inspired generations to fight the power. Through his writings and speeches, Malcolm's message to Black people to take control of their own destiny lives on.
Looking for a moment of faith, hope, and connection? Join us for Prayer Perspectives by J.O. Gatson, live on WBQP TV and WBQP Radio. Every first Wednesday of the month from 9 to 10 p.m. Call in, share your prayer request, and receive prayer in real time. Mark your calendar starting February 4th. Prayer, Perspective, Power. Only on WBQP TV and WBQP Radio.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it now.
Start your day with Mornings with Vernon on WBQP, Monday through Friday from 6:30 to 9 a.m. Watch on Channel 12 and listen on WBQP Radio on your phone, Alexa, or CarPlay. WBQP is your information station.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it now.
Start your day with Mornings with Vernon on WBQP, Monday through Friday from 6:30 to 9 a.m. Watch on Channel 12 and listen on WBQP Radio on your phone, Alexa, or CarPlay. WBQP is your information station.
All right, Pensacola, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Yeah.
Morning with Vernon this morning. Get it all right in a minute, y'all. Good morning. Morning, y'all.
Get up now. Let's go.
Friday.
Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it now.
Good morning with Vernon, y'all. Good morning, y'all. All right, y'all. Today is Friday, February the 6th. And Valentine's Day is creeping up on us pretty soon, y'all. The Super Bowl is this weekend for all those Super Bowl sports fans. It's the biggest weekend of the year, Super Bowl weekend, and I'm gonna be cheering for the Seahawks. And I'm not even a sports fan, y'all. I'm gonna be. Because we got Devin, our local, Mr. Weatherspoon is playing in the Super Bowl. Yeah, whatever that means, y'all. But anyhow, they're going to have Super Bowl parties all over town. And, hey, do what you do. But good morning, y'all. We got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, what's going in and around your community. We're going to talk about some things that around the world, around the country, around the state, around the Gulf Coast, around Escambia County, around Pensacola, and down to your community, y'all. We're going to be giving some information because you know this is our information station, y'all. Yes, sir. Our information station. I want to say good morning to everybody. We got a great show at 8 o'clock this morning. We're going to have a supervisor or elections on, Mr. Robert Bender. You're going to be talking about the election and how to vote and how not to vote. And he give us some great stuff. And of course, at 8:30, we always have the sheriff on at 8:30. So you'll get a chance to just see and hear some great things, good informational stuff that goes on in our community. Oh, yes, you will. All right, y'all. You know, I have to start off the program and we talk about our commercial, do a commercial break. But soon as we finish our commercial break, we'll be back. We'll be back. What the old boy said in that movie, Schwarzenegger? I'll be back. I'll be back. Stay tuned, y'all. Tell everybody. Number one, you just tell everybody how to get this program, okay? I tell everybody how to get this program. Download this app. Tell them Morning with Vernon is on. Mornings with Vernon is on. The Morning with Vernon is on. And popping, y'all. We'll be right back.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it out.
These new Times the Cash scratch-offs have a fun multiplier feature. They're fun. You're fun. We're fun.
Agree to agree.
Times the Cash scratch-offs from the Florida Lottery. It's good fun. Looking for a moment of faith, hope, and connection? Join us for Prayer Perspectives by J.O. Gatson, live on WBQP TV and WBQP Radio. Every first Wednesday of the month from 9 to 10 p.m. Call in, share your prayer request, and receive prayer in real time. Mark your calendar starting February 4th. Prayer, Perspective, Power. Only on WBQP TV and WBQP Radio.
Viola's Menswear, 2727 West Cervantes Street, Pensacola, Florida. Gentlemen, fine clothing at an affordable price. Suits starting at $139. Dress, shoes, hats, and accessories. Here at Viola's Menswear, 2727 West Cervantes Street in Pensacola, Florida. Call today at 429-7146, 2727 West Cervantes Street in Pensacola, Florida.
Navigating heart care can be challenging. Baptist makes it better with the latest treatments and innovations and the area's largest, most experienced heart team ready to create a care plan just for you. All when you need us most. Let Baptist make it better. Baptist Healthcare.
Some mobile companies make it hard to get a good deal. But at Cox Mobile, we know there's a better way to save. A smarter way. That's why we run on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability without breaking the bank. You'll pay as low as $30 per line. It's a win-win. Cox Mobile, the smart way to mobile.
Hi, I'm Bubba Peters with the Escambia County Property Appraiser, reminding you that March is the deadline to file for your homestead exemption, which reduces your property tax. You can file on our website or visit our office. You will need a valid Florida ID and Social Security numbers for each owner. Owners with disability and seniors over 65 may qualify for additional exemptions. Our friendly staff will be happy to assist you with filing for any additional exemptions that you may qualify for. If you have any questions, please call us at 434-2735 or visit our website at escpa.org.
Got projects in mind? A Pen Air home equity line gives you access to funds without the fees. Pen Air Credit Union. Join us.
I remember these. Will I have the money to send my kid to college? Well, that's specific. How long has that been there? 7-letter word for a bank that helps you reach your goals.
Synovus. Order for Synovus?
Thank you.
Are you Synovus?
Yes.
Are you gonna ask or should I?
A solid financial future doesn't happen by chance. Let's talk about your potential today.
Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home has been in business since 1913. Hi, I'm David Hawkins, the owner of Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home, saying we are a full-service funeral home. We offer pre-need funeral planning. We have a newly remodeled chapel and conference facility. Stop by and see us today. We have 9 vehicles, all waiting to service you. At Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home, we appreciate your stopping by. On behalf of all of our family here at Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home, thank you so much for allowing our family to serve you.
This is Prayer Perspectives by J.O. Gatson on your WBQP.
Father God, right in the midst of our coming this morning, we come praying in confidence and trusted comfort while conceding our will to your will, because thou art the Almighty of the heavens and earth. It's by your grace and mercy we have come this morning, making good our living that you may be satisfied. In the name of Jesus, the Christ, we pray. Amen.
This is Prayer Perspectives by J.O. Gatson on your WBQP.
Happy Friday. Here's your WBQP weekend weather update. We have a beautiful stretch of weather ahead. Friday brings sunny skies and pleasant conditions. High temperatures will reach around 66 degrees with an evening low near 42. Saturday stays mostly sunny and comfortable with a high near 64 degrees. It will be colder overnight with lows dropping to 33. Sunday continues the nice trend with plenty of sunshine. Highs again will be near 64 degrees and temperatures will stay a bit milder overnight with lows around 45. Looking ahead to Monday morning, the commute will feel more like 70 degrees and temperatures will climb quickly, reaching a high near 72 as we head into the new week. Enjoy the sunshine and have a great weekend. This is Cheryl Mulrain with your WBQP Weekend Weather Update.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it out.
All right. I want to say good morning, Miss Lois Pruitt up in St. Louis, y'all. She said, Vernon, it's not only a Friday, Vernon. It is a fantastic Friday. That is she right. Robert Hill used to always say, Fridays and the Gulf Coast was made for each other, y'all. Yes, sir. I ain't got to be original. I can just quote what I know. And yes, sir. Good morning, y'all. Weekend, we might have my weather lady, Miss Cheryl, saying that we might have a pretty decent weekend. But they were projecting a little more cold weather this weekend. So y'all make sure that y'all keep up with the weather date. Okay, just keep up with the weather date, and we'll see exactly what happens along the way. Like I said before, if you don't like the weather today, okay. You don't like the weather today, just hang loose, okay? Just hang loose, because it definitely will change into something that you a lot like different, okay? I can tell you that right now. See, if you don't believe me, try it, okay? All right, y'all. I tell you what, let's start the news off, first of all, with, our Pensacola mayor. He delivered last night. I think he was down at the Bay Center, and he delivered his state of the city address. Pensacola Mayor D.C. Reed kind of laid out his vision last night on what he thinks the state of the city, which, by the way, is and that's one thing I like about Mayor Reed. He keeps us informed. He's there all the time. But I think this is probably his 4th or 5th state of the city address. But and he was up there quite a long time. I think he's rubbing off on Trump now, because he stayed at probably about 90 minutes. You know how long Trump do his speeches. He get long speeches. But anyway, Mayor Reeves, he was discussing everything from public safety to homelessness to the airport and on and on. And and on. He talked about his favorite subject, one of the, the Palafox Street thing there. He was looking. He was trying to explain what he called his Direction 25 initiative. Okay, and he says that as he said, $21 million has been allotted to go towards repairing and maintaining parks, including, a total facelift of the Pensacola Bay Bluff. You remember that project? He got the Palafox project. He got the Baptist project. He has so many projects on his hand. He spoke about resurfacing every basketball venue, if you knew where we got the basketball courts at, and replacing water fountains and everything. He even spoke about the in Pensacola International Airport, okay, which he sometimes, when Pensacon comes in, he rename it as the Intergalactic Airport. They're going to be talking about getting 5 new gates and updating features. He went on and on and on and talked about the demolition project at Baptist Hospital. He said that's going to probably be a project about 18 years long. And then he finally ended up talking about a 38-acre site that's now becoming leverageable to enhance our community. And that is some of the things that he mentioned. He also, by the way, something that affects us. He mentioned that the Fricka Center will be complete, I guess, underway by 2027. That's a brand new multi-million-dollar initiative that he's going on and everything. But on and on and on, and you find the details on Mayor Reeves' plans, okay, because his state of the city was quite informative, if I can say the most. All right, let me move on. I want to listen here. I talked quite a bit yesterday morning about this young man here, Mr. Bruton. He was a military guy. He turned 109 years old on yesterday, and he served in World War II. Okay, and I just want to give him, 109 years. He has to be one of the oldest living World War II veterans. Okay, he got to be one of the two. And I was looking at Channel 3 News, and they did a piece on it yesterday as well, because he's still living, and he had a birthday on yesterday, and so I just want to tell him, Mr. Dwayne Bruton Jr., World War II Army veteran, as another veteran to another, I want to thank him for his long service, okay? His long service. Wow, it's something to be proud of. All righty, let's move on to a different subject this morning. Let's talk about, now, you're talking about some action going on. If you tune into the Scammer account, and it's on YouTube and the county website, we got a channel dedicated on the cable system for your public, what they call a public service channel. And the Scammer County Commission held a really kind of a spiritual, heated meeting last night, other night, and they covered stuff about the access to private property versus public use. And it kind of got a little heated there. The issue arose from a new law that Governor DeSantis signed in 2025. Now, property owners, as well as the members of the public, they argued that the beaches should be open to everybody, okay? And there's 3 parties involved in the issue. We got the public involved. We got people that own the property there, the private property owners, and we got the commissioners. and somebody gonna have to make some decisions sometime and somewhere, and then they're concerned about litigation and all and all. But I don't have time to go through everything. But you just go online, go on YouTube, look at the meeting. If you missed the meeting, look at it and everything. So, you know, it was a good meeting, and you should be able to see it. But you should stay in tune with what's going on in your community. They even talked about stuff like uh, 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 the use of dunes to the water line and all this other kinds of stuff. Okay, but any rate, y'all, that was a very spiritual, little heated meeting. If you like controversy, then you probably would like you probably like that meeting and everything. All right, let's move on to a more serious subject. I'm talking about measles, y'all. Measles in Escambia County. They have confirmed a measles outbreak here in Escambia County. It's the first case that's been identified, and so this measles, they are warning that it could be running rampant. That's running rampant across the country and throughout Florida. And now, first outbreak is here in Escambia County. They found at least, I guess, maybe 20 cases already, maybe around the state. But do not ignore it. Okay, do not ignore it, because measles is an infectious disease. Okay, and it's a big deal. So please do not ignore it. The Center for Disease Control has reported over 588 cases nationwide as of January the 30th. And then, like I said, we got one confirmed case here in Escambia County. And it's going to be really concerning, because if you get in our school system, you know, the kids, since it's so contagious, we might have a little small epidemic on our hand. But keep your eyes on it. If your child has a fever of 101 or more, 100 degrees or more, you know, make them stay home until it's confirmed that they are fever free. And because we don't want to get that messed up, you know, and it can get confused, y'all. It can get confused with a cold. Okay, you can get confused with a cold. You know, you cough, runny nose, fever, rashes, and stuff like that. So make sure that you're safe. Okay, make sure that you're safe. So, all right, can I move on to another issue? You see these? Excuse me. You know, I'm always barking, y'all. But these individuals I have on here, several people here, these folks were deported. Okay, they were previously deported. Okay, they were previously deported, but now they look like they're showing back up, and I guess that's going to be the the issue that the Trump administration is going to have, because when they deport people, for some reason, they can find a way back into the United States. So it's going to be like a cat and mouse game, okay? But they did arrest several of these individuals, okay, that had been deported as illegal immigrants, but they showed up in Northwest Florida and some of them in some cases been convicted there for that. All right, y'all, let's move on again to another subject. This has to do with a report that I made on yesterday, y'all, about the folks over in Baldwin County was concerned about solar farms, okay? It's concerned about solar farms in their area. And this is up around, I believe, this is up around, oh God, I can't, over there, right next to 40 over there. I can't, but anyway, they're trying to create a solar farm over there. And the big issue, excuse me, the big issue about solar farms is that they need solar farms now because of the amount of power it takes to use these mega data centers. And so there have been some questions raised, okay, real questions raised about the timing of trying to put these solar farms in their community. So I can promise you, you're going to hear a lot more about that. I want to report this because I think it's a good feel-good story. Sue Strong on Channel 3 WER, so I'm reporting it for WER. She interviewed a lady from Ascension Sacred Heart, and we're talking about this is Stroke Awareness Month, okay? And strokes is something that we definitely want to take serious. And she's a neurosurgeon, and they talked about stroke awareness. So if you are unaware, because I think sometimes I don't know what the percentage is in the average, but sometimes it's a silent killer. Okay, sometimes we ignore the signs of stroke. So you make sure that you are familiar with that because it could hurt you. All right, let's move on to another event here. This is a Spanish Fort man. He was arrested on child pornography, charged in Baldwin County. Okay, and every day it seems to me I'm reporting on some pervert for child pornography. Yes, I said it. Yeah, I said it. They should be put away for life, in my opinion. I have to put my opinion there because that's not may not be your opinion, but definitely what my opinion is. All right, moving right along. Let's go to Fort Walton Beach here for a minute. It ain't really Fort Walton Beach, but two things. A couple of our congressmen trying to introduce a bill for the first time for new homeowners. Okay, and if you haven't bought a house, if you're young and haven't bought a house, well, now is the time that you might want to start paying attention because two of our Florida congressmen have introduced some legislation, a bill that was going to help young people to own homes. I think Congressman Bill Recchi of the Northwest Florida delegation and Jimmy Patronis, they put a bill in that called Save for Success, the Save for Success Act, House Bill 7393, and they were trying to help young people, the first time home buyers, to get homes, to own homes. And if you want to have any success in any kind of generational wealth, you need to own your home. Okay, you need to own your home. And prices are being so large now that it's almost impossible. Well, Patronis says that the Save for the Success Act makes it more affordable for the first-time homeowners to purchase their first home by giving them great flexibility to use savings that they have already set aside. Homeowners does not just benefit the family, but they strengthen the community because when people have a stake in their own neighborhood, they care more about the school, the public safety, and their local infrastructure. So it's time to give younger generation the opportunity to live the American dream and build strong. Okay, so look out for that. If I know sometimes young folks don't listen to these stories here, but you parents and grandparents that listen, pass it on to the young folks. Okay, they pass it on to the young folks. All right, moving right along. The Florida Department of Education, y'all. The Florida Department of Education is warning students about the protesters, okay? and getting involved with protests in school. Remember that we had the issue just the other day, with the issue. I think, in fact, it was last Friday. Two students at two local schools, Pensacola High School and Pine Forest High School, left school and participated in the national protest, and they were warned that they will suffer the consequences of their actions, and I believe some of them did suffer the consequences, because yesterday I did report on some parents having some issues with them taking disciplinary actions against those students. So the Department of Education is warning that the student protests during school hours or any the educators, as far as that concerned, who encourage them, they put a flat out warning. They say it won't be tolerated. So the Commissioner of Education put that edict out. Okay, he had put that edict out, and he sent letters to Florida State superintendents, and where he letting them know that, okay, don't encourage this. For the students or the faculties, you will suffer the consequences. All righty, y'all. Moving right along. Here's another story that I think is definitely worthy of me mentioning. Remembering Viola. You remember Viola Edwards and the lost Black-owned hospital. Okay, I'm going to take a minute to talk about that. Since it's Black History Month, y'all. Since it's Black History Month, I tell you, this is we talking about. We had Robin Richard on yesterday, and Robin is a local historian, and she knows a lot. She knows a lot about the history of Pensacola, and a lot about Black history in Pensacola, and specifically where a lot of the heart of the Black community activities going on down at Belmont and the Villa. Well, about a century ago, that street was formed in our community. That's where we created a lot of the businesses and churches and music hall, and even back then we had a hospital that we called an African American hospital. But all those looking around today, you would think it was Houdini, because a lot of the businesses, some of the churches still around, and the clubs and the hospital, all that stuff is gone now. Okay, all that stuff is gone. The building is gone. So, but we don't want to forget the history of it, though. Even though they might be gone, we don't want to forget the history of it. So we want to keep the history going. So we want to remember Pensacola's first known Black-owned hospital. It survives, okay? It's a good story to tell. I want you to tell your children about it, and perhaps maybe when Robin Richard come back on, she's on every Thursday at 8 o'clock talking about local Black history. And we're going to talk about she's going to talk about it's what I call, it ain't just only Black history, but it is really, Robin would say, it's an American story. It's an entrepreneurial story. It's a great story. It's a race story. It's a community story that you need to know about. Okay, you need to know about. So I think Channel 3 News, they did a piece on it as well. So I want you to learn about it, know your history and everything. So I want you to kind of remember and do your homework as well. As I report these things, y'all, you got to go. I'm reporting for you to do your homework, and you can follow up with this information. Okay, you can please do that. Okay. And Miss Viola Edwards, she was was one of Pensacola's first known medical facilities, and she was dedicated to treating people of color. And for those folks that don't remember and can't remember, sometimes we didn't always have the ability to go to the hospital. Okay, because of segregation, we was denied access to hospital. I can remember as well being born and raised in Burnt Corn, Alabama. We had two local hospitals, one in Monroeville, Alabama, and one in Evergreen, Alabama. But sometimes we didn't wasn't afforded the opportunity to do that. I remember, and this is a bit of history, which is part of Black history and part of Alabama Black history that you might want to read about. There was a Black hospital in Repton, Alabama, and ran by Dr. Carter, and he was the only doctor in the area that had his own hospital for colored patients. Okay, and that was a series, and he had it on his home ground. He had a series of buildings in the back of his home, which stands as of today. If you go through Repton, Alabama, on Highway 5 and Highway 84, you would see the remnants of that building is still standing there. Well, when the Viola Edwards Hospital was also Pensacola's first known Black colored hospital, if you will. It was opened just a few years after women won their rights. In 1919, women won the right to vote. But this is early. Since then, only a couple of years after that, we got the right to vote. But the hospital ran by that. But I just wanted to share that with you because there's a lot to it. I don't have time to get into it, but I do want you to be aware of the Viola Edwards Hospital, and also there was even some controversy about whether she was doing like abortion and stuff like that. And I want to have Robin to talk about that next week. Robin had mentioned when I was speaking to Robin about it, about this. She said she was the lady was treated in the hospital, and her son was dead, and so she had to. They had to perform an abortion on it, and it's a great story. Y'all got to listen to it. Miss Viola Edwards, she was charged with manslaughter, along with the man who brought her to the hospital. Okay, and it got a great twist to the story that you need to hear why this man brought her to the hospital and why she was pregnant and stuff like that. Great stuff. Great stuff. Anyway, bottom line is it resulted that Miss Viola Edwards probably having to leave Pensacola, and ultimately she moved to Detroit. But Robin is going to be talking to us hopefully next week about that. That is a great story to tell and a great story for you to share with her. And Google it, find out what you need to know about your Black history, okay? All right, let's move on to more of a police story, if you will. The Florida State Troopers are trying to find this vehicle, y'all. If y'all seen this vehicle, that vehicle was involved in a hit and run accident, okay? A hit and run. So if you got information, contact the Florida Highway Patrol, contact the City of Pensacola Police Department, contact the Cameron County Sheriff Department, that we can, they can identify this vehicle, okay? They can identify this vehicle. All right, and moving on to another story. This lady here, this 65-year-old lady here was found. She was missing. We reported her missing in one of our newscasts. But now the woman has been found, according to the Escambia County Sheriff Office, and they said she is back home. She's safely located back home. We reported that she was last seen last week, Thursday around 8 a.m. in the block of Fairfield Drive. But the good news is she's safe, okay? Good news is she is safe. All right, let's move on to a different story. Now, this story here looked like it's going to be in the news cycle for a while because of the Rodney Jones incident. They're going to blame everything on Mr. Rodney Jones, y'all, okay? The Children Trust Fund, okay? The Children Trust Fund is going to, their program is being impacted by, this time the YMCA, okay? The YMCA. So I want y'all to keep your eyes out on these stories, okay? I'm not going to get into the full details of it because a lot of money was allocated to different organizations by the Children Trust Fund, and as you would know, the Rodney Jones situation has caused some controversy about this. So everything gonna be blamed on Rodney Jones, okay? When it all said and done. So just keep your eyes on that story, okay? Keep your eyes on that story then as it relates to the YMCA. All right, another story here reported by the Florida Highway Patrol is that one person was injured near Fairfield Drive after he hit a tree, okay? And again, if you ever heard me say anything, you hear me all the time say, make sure that you driving safe, okay? Make sure that you drive safe because you can't win with a tree. When a tree step out in front of you, tree gonna win. The tree is going to win, okay? Absolutely. All righty, y'all. Let's go back, if you will. I want to talk about one other thing. And we always talk about different things about boiling your water, stuff like this. Well, some contractors, and this is really a safety issue here, but the contractors hit a 2-inch natural gas line on Rush Drive over in Gulf Breeze. So if you live over in that area, I'm pretty sure that it's under control now. Gas lines are nothing to play with if they become breached, and then it's an issue. All right, y'all. I'm gonna tell you about another story here, if you will. Another story is kind of a stuff like that. You remember the 2026 ban on the beach? Okay. Well, the ban on the beach is back. They have announced the 2026 ban on the beach, and it's always fun thing to do. But yesterday they kind of announced the line up on the ban of the beach. So you're gonna start on April the 17th and go from April the 17th through October the 27th. Okay. That's according to Visit Pensacola. So the free concerts, they start at 7. They go from 7 to 9 a.m. They're located there on the Gulfside Pavilion on Pensacola Beach. And it's going to be anywhere from rock, country, and Americana to reggae, funk, bass, and and all kinds of bands. So something for everybody, okay? Something for everybody. So if you're into bands on the beach, okay, they got the schedule listed, and you have to go and find out which band that you want to listen to. They're gonna start April 7th, and gonna run through, I believe it are gonna run through October, and the list is out. So find visit Pensacola, okay, visit Pensacola, and get a hold of the list of the bands. All right. Lastly here, y'all, Channel 3 is reporting, y'all. I'm just reporting what Channel 3 is reporting. Channel WEAR, Channel 3 reporting that we are going to be in for some more weather, okay? And you remember in speaking of Channel 3, but ABC reported last night. I was listening at the news last night, and they are saying the weather across the country going to get even colder before it is said and done. Okay, you're going to get. Can you believe that it's cold enough? Can you believe that the weather going to get colder? Well, that is what they are predicting. But you remember now. You remember what I said about the weatherman. Well, but you can listen to my weather woman. Since I got a weather woman, you can always trust my weather woman, what she says. But I do know one thing for sure, y'all. If you don't like the weather, don't worry. Don't worry. If you don't like the weather, it will definitely change on you. Okay, that's all I can tell you. If you don't like the weather today, it will definitely change on you. All righty, y'all. So that pretty much sums up what is happening in and around your community, in and around your state, in and around your country. Just want to give you a little brief of what's happening. So when you go, you don't have to spend a half an hour looking at the news until you get time. I just took 10, 15, 20 minutes. I'm probably like Trump too. I probably talk longer than I should. But I just want to brief you a little bit on what's happening in the news so you can get it done one spot. This is your information station, y'all. Yeah, information station, the station that cares right here. I'm going to have to take another commercial break, y'all. But when I come back, we're going to be talking about some local events in town that you might want to get your calendar out. Okay, get your calendar out. And then we are going to be talking to the supervisor election around the 8 o'clock time frame. And of course, we're going to be talking to the sheriff around the 8:30 time frame. And also a little more about Black history, since this is Black History Month. So y'all stay tuned. Tell everybody that Morning with Vernon is on, and stay tuned and check us out, okay? I'll be right back.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it now.
Looking for a moment of faith, hope, and connection? Join us for Prayer Perspectives by J.O. Gatson, live on WBQP TV and WBQP Radio. Every first Wednesday of the month from 9 to 10 p.m. Call in, share your prayer request, and receive prayer in real time. Mark your calendar starting February 4th. Prayer, Perspective, Power. Only on WBQP TV and WBQP Radio.
The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you. Call State Farm agent Arthur Searcy for your personal price plan today.
I remember these. Will I have the money to send my kid to college? Well, that's specific. How long has that been there? 7-letter word for a bank that helps you reach your goals.
Synovus. Order for Synovus?
Thank you.
Are you Synovus?
Yes.
Are you gonna ask or should I?
A solid financial future doesn't happen by chance. Let's talk about your potential today.
Navigating healthcare is hard. Baptist makes it better. With convenient locations, easy scheduling, and skilled, compassionate doctors. All when you need us most. The next time you need care, let Baptist make it better. Baptist Healthcare.
Some mobile companies make it hard to get a good deal. But at Cox Mobile, we know there's a better way to save. A smarter way. That's why we run on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability without breaking the bank. You'll pay as low as $30 per line. It's a win-win. Cox Mobile, the smart way to mobile.
Stash your money somewhere smarter. With 5.05% APY, Penair's high-yield checking puts your money to work and earning big. Penair Credit Union. Join us.
These new Times the Cash scratch-offs have a fun multiplier feature. They're fun. You're fun. We're fun.
Agree to agree.
Times the Cash scratch-offs from the Florida Lottery. It's good fun.
Day or night, your loved ones show up for you. At HCA Florida Healthcare, we do too. Because you're the center of our family, Florida's largest healthcare family. And you'll feel it in everything we do. HCA Florida Healthcare. We show up for you.
Need a new outfit for a special occasion? Look no further than Viola's Men's Apparel. Viola's has been providing the latest styles and accessories in Pensacola for over 20 years now. We have clothes for every occasion, and we offer consultations and group discounts. You can trust that our care, quality, and class will be unmatched. Viola's Men's Apparel, for all of your menwear needs.
Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home has been in business since 1913. Hi, I'm David Hawkins, the owner of Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home, saying we are a full-service funeral home. We offer pre-need funeral planning. We have a newly remodeled chapel and conference facility. Stop by and see us today. We have 9 vehicles, all waiting to service you. At Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home, we appreciate your stopping by. On behalf of all of our family here at Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home, thank you so much for allowing our family to serve you.
This is Prayer Perspectives by J.O. Gatson on your WBQP.
In the midst of prayer this morning, we are lifted and strengthened when the feebleness of our left hand touches the wholeness of God's right hand. Let us pray. Dear God, we bless you with such as we have on this morning. It's our left touching your right. It's our brokenness with tears, which mutates into righteousness. Now, Lord, make good this day for us, that your glory may be revealed to the weak and faint. Our prayer in Jesus' name, amen.
This is Prayer Perspectives by J.O. Gatson on your WBQP.
Happy Friday. Here's your WBQP weekend weather update. We have a beautiful stretch of weather ahead. Friday brings sunny skies and pleasant conditions. High temperatures will reach around 66 degrees with an evening low near 42. Saturday stays mostly sunny and comfortable with a high near 64 degrees. It will be colder overnight with lows dropping to 33. Sunday continues the nice trend with plenty of sunshine. Highs again will be near 64 degrees and temperatures will stay a bit milder overnight with lows around 45. Looking ahead to Monday morning, the commute will feel more like 70 degrees and temperatures will climb quickly, reaching a high near 72 as we head into the new week. Enjoy the sunshine and have a great weekend. This is Cheryl Mulrain with your WBQP Weekend Weather Update.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it now.
All right, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. One of the things I forgot to mention in the national news this morning, jobs are plummeting, y'all. Jobs are plummeting. Where are the jobs? That bad news for the Trump administration, regardless of what he tried to sell you, okay? Our economy, and not only affordability is an issue, but the economy is an issue about jobs. He has restricted, suppressed the monthly jobs report, trying to not reveal the true state of what the job situation is. I read somewhere that they finally got a hold of the December's job report, and it's not looking good for the Trump administration because we're not talking about January either, and we into February. So, but it had dropped probably unexpected, probably to the lowest level since probably 2012 or 13, but certainly had dropped worse than it was during the mid 2020s when we was in the heart of COVID pandemic. So it's a sign that companies have cooled down on hiring. Okay, so if you're looking for a job, you might be in trouble. Despite what the White House trying to tell you about this new golden age, the Trump administration, his economic agenda is not working, while he's focusing on stuff that's not as important, on immigration and insulting people. I don't think he would choose time to focus on the American people and jobs, okay? It certainly is an issue there. It's a problem, y'all. They say that the private sector just added only 22,000 jobs in January, which is a issue. It's not a lot of jobs compared to what we are used to in this country. So look out. The economy is floundering, y'all, floundering. So you better tell your president to step his game up and stop playing games with the American people. Okay, so hey, it is what it is, y'all. I hate to be the barrier of bad news for the folks that support the administration, but at the same time, there are some things we need to think about. Also, when within the national, they're saying that they're beginning to draw down a lot of the agents out of Minnesota, and as a result of that, it's been leaked now. That's those ICE agents, or those ICE thugs, as I call them. Yeah, in my opinion, I call them a thug, okay? Because I don't think they're well trained enough to be considered federal agencies, but it is what it is. We got what we got. There's some inside information that these ICE agents is trying to turn on leadership now because they're complaining about it now. So now that they're being pulled back because of the public backlash over the aggressive tactics that they've been using in these raids and unrest, and so these thugs are not liking it. These henchmen, the federal henchmen, are not liking it because they're being reined in, but they only be reined in just a little bit. But it took the murder of two American citizens even to get to this point. The killing of Renee Good and Alex Preddick is just unprecedented in these United States. We shouldn't have to do that because people are protesting, exercising their First Amendment rights. Okay, now it was estimated that the Trump administration, or Department of Homeland Security, if you will, roughly had about 12,000 new officers. 12,000. Think about this: 12,000 new officers in 2025. Okay, and you're talking about DEI. No, they shortened these people training. Okay, but yet, don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on it on that. But these are unqualified thugs. Okay, unqualified thugs, and when the truth is told, now I believe that when the truth is being told, you're going to find that many of these agents of Klansmen, many of them are militias, many of them are gang members, and so forth. That's my belief. Okay, verify me, believe me, I don't care, but that's my opinion, and I think that's it's unfortunate as it is. Okay, but they're being reined back a little bit, y'all. Being reined back just a little bit because of that's what we're trying to say. The American people need to step up and speak up. If they don't like the way this country is going, then we are gonna have to take it. I want to quote the MAGA world. We need to take our country back. We need to take our country back. Absolutely, the American people need to take our country back. Okay. But at any rate, y'all, I forgot to mention that when I was in my normal newscast. Okay. Another thing I know you've been hearing on the news about the lady Nancy Guthrie mother was kidnapped, and so you might want to keep your eye on that story. Anyway, let's talk about. I just need you to get your pen and your calendar out now. Oh, by the way, while I'm on the national news subject, I believe the Clintons decided they are going to testify, y'all. I think they are going to testify or testified in the Epstein's hearing. So I want you to stay tuned. I want you to stay tuned for that. Okay, stay tuned for that event. All right. But anyway, let's go home. Let's go to Pensacola, y'all. Let's go to our community. Okay. I just want to talk about some of the events that's happening in our community. The number one event that I want you to notice and take note of, we got Bakara. Bakara is coming up. Okay, y'all know Bakara. Leroy Williams. He is going to be doing his annual gospel stage play. It's always a spiritual uplifting stage play. He's been doing this for 30 years, probably more. And he actually won an award as a playwright award. So he's an award-winning playwright, y'all. But this time it's called But God. He's going to be at the Pensacola High School Auditorium, which is located, everybody knows Pensacola. Do I have to put an address? Okay, 500 West Maxwell. Okay. No, but, well, maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe you need to put the address in it because you know why? Because people can't remember anymore. You know why? Because technology has made them lazy. They depend on GPS for everything. By the way, a little bit of Black history, y'all. Talking about GPS. A black woman was partially responsible for creating the GPS system. Thank you, Black lady. Okay? So y'all tell that to your children, okay? And research who it was, okay? Because I can't think of her name right now. But anyway, put it in your GPS. If you don't know what Pensacola High School is, put this on your calendar. On March 21st at 2:30, Bakara will be doing their production. Another event you need to put on your calendar right now It's the Chapter James 2026 Gala. It's going to be hosted by Miss Sue Strong. It's going to be down at the Sandra Beach Corrine Jones Resource Center. It's located at this is just for your navigation system at 913 South I Street. Okay. If you don't know where it is, put it in your navigation system. It'll get you there. It might take you the long route, but it'll get you there. It's Saturday, February 28, 2026. So we're going to start at 5 o'clock, as I have been told. We are running, I interviewed Miss Jackie from the African American James Museum, and on Pensacola Wants to Know. In that show, if you want all of the details about it, that show is running on WBQP. And today, it's going to run tonight. Okay, it's going to run tonight. We ran it Wednesday. We ran it Sunday, I believe it was, but it's going to run again tonight. If you missed that show with Miss Jackie from the Chapter James Museum, you probably will pick it up on one of the editions of Pensacola Wants to Know. Another show that you might want to stay tuned on WBQP is Charles Thornton has a Thornton Review. Charles Thornton interviews local area people, and he interviewed one of the guests I don't have on this morning, Mr. Robert Bender. He had one of those on the show, but his last interview was one of the greatest people that I know. Okay, his name was Vernon Watson of WBQP TV. So you might want to check that interview out as well. That was his last show. He's doing another one coming up pretty soon. But anyway, of course we're going to have Robert Bender on in just a few minutes at 8 o'clock time frame. Now, I have to take you to Abilene and bring you back. Now, let's get back to the Chapter James Museum. You got it on your calendar? I filibustered until you got the calendar. Put it on your calendar for February the 28th, y'all. February the 28th. Also, Sunshine, my friend Miss Sunshine, she asked me to remind everybody that on Saturday, February the 7th, okay, February the 7th, which is going to be tomorrow night, y'all. They're going to do a birthday celebration for Big John Haley, okay? And it's going to be a blues event. If you like blues and Southern soul, you might want to check out the birthday party. It's going to be on DJ Shannon and Romy Rome, and MC Smooth is going to be on the ones and twos, and the doors open at 7 o'clock. They're going to be featuring a lot of these Southern soul artists that you hear on WBQP TV and WBQP Radio. Folks like Miss, and also as on the Blues Sound Show, folks like Miss Donna Renee, Pensacola's own Will Easley, Miss Jennifer Watt, J.L. Adams, and J. Mo. All those folks are going to be performing live. So if you want to go to the Speakeasy for a Southern Soul concert, that is where you need to be. If you got any questions about it, it's just call 850-28238, I believe it is, 3482. Okay, I believe that's 238, or maybe it's 288. I can't read, because I can't, when you get old like me, not only you can't read, but you can't see. But it's either going to be 238 or 288. I can't make out that number there. So put them both down if you want no more information. If you don't know what a speakeasy is, put this into your GPS. It's located at 501 East Bar Street, okay? And where everybody know what a speakeasy is. I don't know why I'm spending my time with all of that, okay? But it is what it is. All right, y'all. The next event that I need you to mark your calendar for is the National Coalition of 100 Black Women going to have their Women of Excellent Masquerade of Excellent Unmasking the Trailblazers. They're going to be featuring Mrs. Lanice Liggins of I think it's NBC News. But anyway, they're going to be at the St. Carlos Ballroom, which is located again at at the Hilton Gardens, y'all, at 1144 Airport Boulevard. Put that in there in your calendar as well, y'all. Okay, don't say you didn't know, because I'm telling you so. Okay, if you didn't know, I'm telling you so. All right. Now, I have I don't have my graphics on this just yet, but I need to share this with you. But tomorrow, next week, I have my graphics on it. But Movement for Change, okay? Movement for Change, they are. Let me get this off for the screen first of all, so I can get Movement for Change. And the Movement for Change having their Black History Breakfast. Mark your calendar for Movement for Change having their Black History Breakfast on February the 28th at It's Personal by Sheila's, okay? The doors are going to open at 8:30. The breakfast is going to be at 9 o'clock, and tickets is only $20. And y'all, these are fundraiser events, okay? These are fundraising events. So we want to support these fundraisers. So the next time I talk about it and y'all see me again, I'm going to have the flyer up. I just don't have time to put up the flyer for that particular event. They're going to have a lot of good stuff going on over in the other counties we're not going to talk about, like Escambia County, Santa Rosa County and Okaloosa County. But right now I'm sticking with what's happening in our own community for now, because we got on Wednesday, Jill Daggs give you what's inside Santa Rosa, and on Thursday, Christina Flores and BJ tell you what's happening in the Santa Rosa County. So I let them do that job for them on Thursday. But on today, we're going to talk about our community. Also, the Gulf Coast Minority Chamber is having their annual meeting on March 24th. That is going to be down at the Belmont, the DeVilla Squares, if you want to call it. But if you don't know where the DeVilla Squares is, just call it Belmont and DeVilla. You'll find your way down, okay? You'll find your way down to Belmont and DeVilla. You see it right there. Used to be where the old furniture company used to be, and 506 used to be there. Also, the Panhandle Progressive, they are holding an event on February the 28th, y'all. You might want to, we got a barcode there. And people are into barcode. I got to get into that. Everything's a barcode. And all the information, since the information station, don't you think we ought to be getting barcodes? I need a barcode specialist. I don't know how to make these damn barcodes, but everything now, all the information now is passed on through barcodes, and we got our cameras, and we can, they can interpret that barcode and bring it up to life to you. So anybody know how to do barcode, call me, because I need some help with barcodes. But anyway, if you see a barcode on the screen, get your phone, point to it, and it'll give you information. But anyway, that is the Panhandle Progressive is doing their event. Also, make sure you put on your calendar every Saturday afternoon, y'all. Every Saturday afternoon starting at 1 p.m. And they have been doing this since January 24th. But the Escambia Democratic Party is holding what they call candidate canvassing. They start at 1 o'clock and all the way to 4 o'clock. And they start off at 2618 MLK Drive. And they're going to do this every Saturday throughout the month of February and month of March. They're going to be doing some canvassing there as well. Let me see here. Now, I want to show you this, and I know you're just going to laugh. You're just going to laugh because my least person in the world. I took a shot with the least person that I like in the world, y'all. Y'all see that? I thought I threw that in just for good measure, y'all. But anyhow, let me move on before I get my black card pulled, okay? But anyway, Mark, you got the calendar out. Keep your calendar out, okay? Baptist Town Quilt, the Kakua Institute is holding two events, and one is called the Baptist Town Quilt. It's going to be held on February the 20th and 21st. They're gonna have actually gonna have a reception on the 20th down at the Kakua Institute, and if you don't know where it is, it's down in the Belmont de Villa area, but 300 North Rouge Street, okay. And on Saturday, on the 21st, they're gonna have the exhibit, the exhibit there, and at 2:00 they're gonna have what they call Quilter Talk. And if it said Baptist Town, you know what Baptist Town Quilt is. Well, if you don't know what is Baptist Town, again, we're going to teach you a little bit of history. Okay, a little bit of history. Baptist Town is a community in Greenwood, Mississippi. Okay, pretty much like our community here. We have Lincoln Park, and we have Hawkshaw. You know, we all these traditional communities within the city. Well, within Greenwood, Mississippi, where Tyrone Davis is from, and a lot of artists is from in and around that area there. Miss Patricia Gaston, who was born in Baptist Town and grew up there, she did a quilt on the history, if you will, of Baptist Town. You know, you heard of Africa Town in Mobile. So, but it all tells a great story. Is a historic adventure and of this predominant African American neighborhood, and so you definitely don't want to miss that. Thanks to the Kakua Institute, y'all. Speaking of that, they also got another event. I want to use my English. They're gonna schedule instead of schedule. They're gonna schedule. They got scheduled another event on Saturday, February the 28th, okay, at 9 a.m. They're going to run from 9 a.m. to noontime, saying researching your family, telling your story. It's a genealogy workshop to help you kind of research and discover your own ancestries and their story, because we all have great story to tell. Now, you know, I did that as well. I started researching my family roots, and you know, I found out a lot of things, and I was so proud of some of the things that I uncovered in my family root. If y'all remember the event that they did on Emmett Smith, okay, Emmett Smith happened to be a part of our family and our family root. If you looked at that piece on him, they looked at him. They took it, finding his roots, and everything led to Burnt Corn, Alabama, and then back all the way back to Africa. So if you hadn't seen that piece that they did some years ago, they did this some years ago, and every once in a while they show it again. But that's a part of my roots. But one of the things that I learned in my roots is that I was so proud of that my great grandfather had owned more than 600 acres of land, and much of it he bought on his own for land like for 50 cents an acre. I learned about that. But the interesting story about that is that he had my great daddy, we called him Pa Watson, okay? And these are great stories you can find out by researching your roots. I found out that his father was a white man, okay? And he had black children, and my great-grandpa departed. That maybe they explain why I'm light-skinned. But anyhow, never mind. But anyway, he what he decided to do, his white father decided that he was going to do the right thing. And he knew once he died that his property would never get to his black child, which had happened to be my great-granddaddy. What he did was, while this white man lived, okay, and he deeded my great-granddaddy all of his property, or the share of his property gonna leave him. So my granddaddy ended up with more than 600 acres of land. But the story didn't end there, okay? It's real interesting stuff. When the good white people of that community found out that he was doing that, and in fact, they murdered him. Okay, they murdered him. And I want to say it just as it was saying. The reason that they murdered him is because they are saying that was too much land for too many niggas. Okay, that was the quote that they were saying, and that's the reason that they didn't want him to will his property to his black children. But the damage have done before they found out about it. It was deeded, and therefore. But all I get off the subject to tell you that you can find your stories. You can find very interesting story in your history the same way. Stuff that you didn't know, stuff that you could be proud of. But mark on your calendar, February 28th, 2026, at the Kukua Institute, y'all. At the Kukua Institute. All right, let's go on. We're talking about some divine connections here. Let's talk about the Ella L. Jordan African American Community Museum, rather. They got a lot of activities going on throughout the month of February in honor of Black History. They started off with an essay contest, but then they had the following week on the 3rd of February, they had a sing-along with with Elder Vera Sullivan and friends. And tomorrow, I believe on the 11th, is that tomorrow? To know the 11th is, I don't know when the 11th is, but anyway, on the 11th, they're planning to have a panel discussion, okay, on health, mind, body, and soul with Minister Cynthia Brown. So you're going to have people speaking on physical health like Ms. Renita Anderson. You're going to have folks speaking on your other health issues like Mr. Randa Denard, mental health issues, Dr. Gabriel Davis. Then on the 17th, okay, they are planning to have evangelist Vonda Yates. It's going to be inspirational and motivational, so you don't want to miss that. So mark your calendar for the 17th. And on the 24th, they will have life in 2026 and beyond with Drusilla James and Minister Romel Farmer. So y'all just mark your calendars, okay? Mark your calendar for these events. Another event is coming up. I'm going to talk about later on. We're going to have a show coming up talking about the downtrodden and how we can help the homeless and so forth with this gentleman here over in Fort Walton Beach, Mr. Willie Farrell. The show going to start. It's a once-a-month program. We're going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be an interactive show. It's going to be a call-in. And so you'll hear more about that as we go along. They're going to have the Magic of Motown Singer Theater. You need to do some advertising with WBQP, okay? I'm giving you some shout-outs, but I want the term because you're making money off of this thing. So, folks, speaking of making money, I don't mind giving your event when there's a nonprofit or there's no money involved. But if you're going to make money off of these events, if it's not going to a good cause like a fundraiser, then you ought to be paying. I think somebody making a little profit. If you're going to make a little profit on this, you throw the brothers some business here, okay? Throw the brothers some business. The Investment in You Community Expo, y'all, is scheduled for March 21st at the Brownsville Community Center. And so you definitely don't want to miss that as well. So mark your calendar for that event. Okay, mark your calendar for that event. Also, let me see if I missed anything, y'all. Which I usually do, but what can I say? The blue and white. Yes, I did miss something. And I don't think I have it here. I don't have the graphics, but I would love to make sure that I get the graphics on everything. There is going to be, for the National Associations of the Reentry Professionals, that's a 501c organization. They are going to have a blue and white winter affair. It's scheduled for February the 27th, y'all, at Sanders Beach. Starts at 6 o'clock. And we are going to have the person on next week to talk about that event. It will helping people, y'all, to they're helping ex-offenders to get reintroduced to society so they don't have to go back. And so these fundraisers, stuff to help do that. Also, don't forget. Also, I got to get the graphic for this as well. The 4th annual prayer breakfast is going to be held at the Pensacola Improv Center at 375 North Pace Boulevard. So you might want to get your schedule on for that. It's going to be held February the 21st, y'all, at 9 a.m. called the 4th annual prayer breakfast. Okay, and the keynote speaker is going to be Pastor Darian Horton, I believe. Pastor Darius Horton. He's the pastor of the Chapel Missionary and White Oak Missionary Baptist Church of North Carolina. Yeah, from the Kakalakis, y'all. Yes, sir. I think that's going to do it. I think that is going to do it for my community announcement, you all. We talked about a little bit of everything. We're going to take a commercial break, but when we come back, hopefully we'll be talking to the supervisor election, Mr. Robert Bender, y'all, of his Escambia County supervisor election. And we're going to talk about all the things. If you have any questions, you can text me. I can ask him what, if anything, of your concern. And but stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Tell everybody, Morning with Vernon is on.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it now.
Looking for a moment of faith, hope, and connection? Join us for Prayer Perspectives by J.O. Gatson, live on WBQP TV and WBQP Radio. Every first Wednesday of the month from 9 to 10 p.m. Call in, share your prayer request, and receive prayer in real time. Mark your calendar starting February 4th. Prayer, Perspective, Power. Only on WBQP TV and WBQP Radio.
Stash your money somewhere smarter. With 5.05% APY, Penair's high yield checking puts your money to work and earning big. Penair Credit Union. Join us.
These new Times the Cash scratch-offs have a fun multiplier feature. They're fun. You're fun. We're fun.
Agree to agree.
Times the cash scratch-offs from the Florida Lottery. It's good fun.
Where does energy come from? Where does it go? At Pensacola Energy, we know that energy transfers from one form to another. Endless hot showers from our natural gas energize you. Your energy inspires others and grows into a positive energy force. Environmentally friendly, reliable, affordable natural gas from Pensacola Energy. We are your energy, Pensacola. For details on rebates, call 850-436-5050 or visit PensacolaEnergy.com.
The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you. Call State Farm agent Arthur Searcy for your personal price plan today.
Reign in the new year with a dazzling smile. Dr. Paul and the team at Marcus E. Paul DMD Gentle Family and Cosmetic Dentistry offer expert and comfortable dental care. From tooth replacement to addressing various needs, their friendly staff is ready to assist. Visit their office or call for the care you deserve. Achieve a beautiful smile with Marcus E. Paul DMD Gentle Family and Cosmetic.
Viola's Menswear, 2727 West Cervantes Street, Pensacola, Florida. Gentlemen, fine clothing at an affordable price. Suits starting at $139. Dress, shoes, hats, and accessories. Here at Viola's Menswear, 2727 West Cervantes Street in Pensacola, Florida. Call today at 429-7146, 2727 West Cervantes Street in Pensacola, Florida.
And action.
Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home has been in business since 1913. Hi, I'm David Hawkins, the owner of Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home, saying we are a full-service funeral home. We offer pre-need funeral planning. We have a newly remodeled chapel and conference facility. Stop by and see us today. We have 9 vehicles, all waiting to service you. At Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home, we appreciate your stopping by. On behalf of all of our family here at Joe Morrison Son Funeral Home, thank you so much for allowing our family to serve you.
Navigating healthcare is hard. Baptist makes it better. With convenient locations, easy scheduling, and skilled, compassionate doctors, all when you need us most. The next time you need care, let Baptist make it better. Baptist Healthcare.
This is Prayer Perspectives by J.O. Gatson on your WBQP.
Father God, we come situating ourselves by disconnecting with this world and connecting with heaven, casting all our cares upon you, praying our way through like the woman with the issue of blood. Now, Lord, we come with expressions of love and gratitude, asking you to bless us as we go throughout this day. Our prayer in Jesus' name, amen.
This is Prayer Perspectives by J.O. Gatson on your WBQP.
Happy Friday. Here's your WBQP weekend weather update. We have a beautiful stretch of weather ahead. Friday brings sunny skies and pleasant conditions. High temperatures will reach around 66 degrees with an evening low near 42. Saturday stays mostly sunny and comfortable with a high near 64 degrees. It will be colder overnight with lows dropping to 33. Sunday continues the nice trend with plenty of sunshine. Highs again will be near 64 degrees and temperatures will stay a bit milder overnight with lows around 45. Looking ahead to Monday morning, the commute will feel more like 70 degrees and temperatures will climb quickly, reaching a high near 72 as we head into the new week. Enjoy the sunshine and have a great weekend. This is Cheryl Mulrain with your WBQP Weekend Weather Update.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go. Get up now. Turn it up now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get it out.
All right, Pensacola, good morning. Morning with Vernon. If you ain't got your coffee cup, go ahead and get your coffee so you can enjoy it. We got a great show lined up for today. And we got the supervisor of election, Mr. Robert Bender, on with us this morning. Good morning, Mr. Bender. How are you this morning?
We are great. A little, not quite as chilly as it was earlier in the week, so that's good.
I know that's right. I tell you what, I like Florida because of the weather. So we got to enjoy it. When this cold weather come through, we're gonna have to get used to it.
Hey, at least we don't have to worry about those frozen iguanas up here.
You know, I don't know about you, but see, I was born in the South, and so I'm used to warm weather. So this unusual cold weather is kind of weird for me. Well, born here?
I was born and raised here as well. So
okay, well you know what I'm talking about then. All right. Good morning. Oh, 2026 is an election year, and we want to talk about the rights and responsibility. There's a lot of changes over time about the election laws and stuff like that. And I want to get you on to talk about elections and voting by mail, the whole 9 yards. Can we do it 30 minutes because they got the
We'll
sheriff
do our
coming
best,
on
but I
and
think we can really make
at
sure
8:30.
your listeners are informed and election ready for 2026.
Very good. That's where we want to be. All righty then. Let's talk about the election. Number one, let's see what candidates are available. Just give us a sermon. Who we gonna be voting for? What offices is available?
Perfect. So I'll start off with the election dates. So August 18th will be the primary. Remember, Florida's a closed primary state, so only the party for which you are registered will be on your ballot, and the deadline to register is 30 days, 29 days before the election, and so to change your party to register, you have to make sure you do that 29 days before the election. So on the primary, we already have a couple of races heating up statewide for governor. You have your cabinet, your CFO, your commissioner of agriculture, your attorney general. And then we have our 2 state house reps. We'll also have our congressional race on the ballot. And then you get into your local races. City of Pensacola, you have the mayor and city districts 2, 4, and 6. County commissioners 2 and 4. You have EC Way 2 and 4, and then school board districts 1, 2, and 3, and then of course the San Rose Island Authority and then a couple other smaller races.
Okay, just for the record, I did get those graphics you sent me just a few minutes ago. But by the way, let's talk about the changes in the election laws and procedures. Could you kind of summarize the changes?
We haven't really had many in the last year or two. And really the biggest change maybe that would affect some of the viewers is the requirement to renew your vote by mail after every general election. So after the 2022 election, all vote by mail requests were wiped clean. We still sent out 43,000 for the 2024 general election. So those 43,000 people, each one of them had made that request after January 1st, 2023. We had to wipe them clean. We had the special election. So we did get a lot of those people to renew, but we will be sending out another reminder to anyone who voted by mail in 24 and has not renewed that they need to renew. And like I said, it was something that after every general election, every 2 years, you have to renew for that next election cycle.
Okay,
and
so you say every 2 years, if you vote by mail, you have to re-up.
You have to re-up, and again, we'll be sending out another postcard to remind you that you need to re-up. Also, we'll just be sending a general postcard to most likely households of registered voters, letting them know of the 3 ways to vote. So in Escambia County and across Florida, you have your early voting, your vote by mail, and election day are the 3 ways you can vote. You don't have to have an excuse to do any of them, and so. And we have a pretty good, it was split pretty evenly, but we had about 20% vote by mail in the 2024 general election. We had 30% election day and 50% early vote.
Okay. I want to make it clear because some people get confused. When you're saying re-up, you're just re up for your method of voting. You're not purged from the rolls. Some people believe that they have to re-sign up to re-vote again. Clear that out.
Sure. And so in Florida, even if you do move to inactive, which is someone who hasn't done anything for 2 election cycles, maybe we've gotten some returned mail, can't get in touch with you, we put you in an inactive status. You stay like that for 2 election cycles, and then you get removed from the roll. So we had over 1,000 people just show up to vote in 2024 that were in that inactive status and were able to vote. So I think Florida is doing it right, where you can't vote in 24 and then all of a sudden go to 26 and you're not registered anymore. So we unless you've actually requested that. And so I think the way that our process is a good process. But yes, it is just the request to vote by mail. That is so that if you move, somebody moves out of state, you don't hear these stories about how they haven't been here for 4 years and they're still getting ballots. Right. And so, but yes, if you voted in 24 even if you voted in 22, you wouldn't have any issue unless, of course, we got some returned mail or something. But we usually have communications with that. We don't just get returned mail and you don't hear from us again and you show up. But again, that's why we say get election ready. You can always go to check your status on our website. You can go to Am I Registered? So it's escambiavotes.gov. Am I Registered? There's also some links just on our homepage. You enter in your date of birth and your name, and then it'll show you your status. It'll show you if you already have a vote by mail request on file. It'll show you where you can go to vote. Once we get closer to the election, it'll also have your sample ballot, things like that. But of course, we also send a sample ballot in the mail to people that have not requested to receive it by email or do not have that vote by mail request on file. I got an avid viewer called me and told me you asked the supervisor election. His name is it escapes me now. But anyway, and as well as I know him, I know his name as well as mine. And now I'm put on the spot. I can't call his name, but his question was about dead folks voting. He said, "Well, is that an issue? What he wanted to know what they mean about dead folks voting, and is that a problem in Escambia County?" So it's not a problem in Escambia County, and I would say it's not a problem across Florida. We work closely with the state, with the Department of Vital Statistics, with the Social Security Administration. They send us those death records, and we process them off the rolls. And so, but again, you think about it, and we'll get to election workers here in a second because we're recruiting, and hopefully some of your viewers will want to become election workers. But you have to give them that ID when you go vote. Again, by making this request for vote by mail every 2 years, you have to give some personal identifying information, driver's license, social security number, something like that, the last four of the social, to get that request on file. So we're cutting down the possibility that we just have ballots floating out there or being sent to dead people. But like I said, we also manage our voter rolls. We work with those entities to remove deceased individuals from the voter rolls. And so no, we don't have that problem here. Mr. Malcolm Porter is the person that asked me to ask you that, but I argued with him about the fact. I said, even if it were true, if you said, well, relative can get the ballot and send it back, but isn't it verified once you get back an absentee ballot or vote by mail ballot? Don't they have to be cross-referenced and verified by signatures or something like that? How that system work? It does. So there's a signature block on the back of the envelope, and then we take that and compare it to the voter's signature on file. And of course, I know people's signature may change over time, but we can see the progression that they've had during the years, and we have specialty training on how to identify handwriting techniques and things like that. But if it doesn't match, so that's if it does match, and if it doesn't match, we send you a notice to let you know, and the voter has until 5 p.m. 2 days after the election on that Thursday to cure their ballot, to give us the information, to give us a photo ID, something like that, to show that it was them. So we have this ability for, even if it comes in, sometimes people send it in and forget to sign it. And so we have that process. You don't have to wait until 2 days after the election. As soon as we get that ballot in, we let you know. Now, here's the thing. If it ends up not being accepted, we'll send you a letter after the fact saying your ballot did not count. Maybe you need to update your signature, but that ballot never gets opened. So we don't open that ballot. So the only ballots we're opening are the ones that we're counting. Okay. Now let's talk about the vote by mail. This is a thing that, how do one vote by mail? So like I said, it's pretty easy. You can go online and make the request. You can give us a call. Again, we would ask for that personal identifying information like your driver's license or the last four of your social security number. And then you can have those requests good through the general election in 26. So after the November 3rd election, that would be your last one. You don't have to do anything after that for this election cycle. And so between the 40th and 33rd day before the election is when we'll send out our initial batch. Usually we try to get as close to that 40th day so that we can get it to you and the voter has enough time to weigh their options and make their decision and then get it back to us.
Okay,
So,
when is the deadline if we were to vote by mail for the upcoming primary? What's the deadline for that to get votes in?
So for us to receive it, we have to have it in our possession by 7 p.m. on election day. We do have, we call them secure ballot intake stations at all of our early vote sites. You can just go by there and put it in the, it's a box. It's one of our poll deputies is usually standing right next to it because they're required to. We collect those every night, bring them back into our office, and then they get counted in the next couple days or so. So again, you can bring it to our office. If it's outside the early voting, you can just bring it straight to our office. And then the other thing you can always do is if you want to just go vote in person, you can take it with you and return it to the election workers at the precinct. They will give you another ballot though. The vote by mail ballots that we send out, those can't be tabulated in a precinct or at an early vote site. So they'll take that ballot from you and give you another one.
Okay. Now another concern a caller had asked me about to ask you about. The post office now is deferring to their automated date stamping equipment. Used to be a day and that you can go in and hand stamp your post date, just like I do my income tax at 11/59 on tax day. Now, same thing that they do with mail-in ballots. They go on their stamp date. Is that going to be an issue if it don't get processed to a couple of days later by the machines? Or
so for us, it's not, because it still has to be in my possession by election night at 7 p.m. We don't go by postmark like some of the other states. I have had a lot of discussions with the Postal Service. You can still go in and request it if that's what you need. They'll go in and still hand stamp it for your taxes. But as what they say is that the stamp was never there to mark the date it was there. It was there to cancel the stamp. And so all these other entities have built things around that mark, the stamp, about the cancellation stamp with the date on it. But for Florida, it has to be in my possession by 7 p.m. on election night. And so that doesn't impact us. Now, we're something like when I was saying the book closing, that 29 days before the election, if someone needs to send in an application, we do go by the date stamp on that. So not with the ballots, but with others, little things that we do like voter registration. So, but again, you can always go online to do your voter registration, change your party, anything like that.
Okay, let's move on to another subject, if you will, about volunteering. My wife used to be a volunteer election worker, and then she got lazy and she retired and she quit. But let's talk about serving your community as an election worker, and with the fact that sometimes people somewhat intimidated because they don't want the drama around it. So can we talk about how they can become an election worker and it is safe to do so?
Oh, absolutely. So I'll start off by saying we have a great election worker staff. And I couldn't do it without them, right? That's what they are who make our elections run. But you know what? They're your friends. They're your neighbors. They're your church members that are there. And so I say that they are looking out for the voters as much as they're there looking out for me to make sure that we're doing everything right. So we're going to have some information sessions coming up, and we'll have some information we're just confirming the dates now, probably for a late March, maybe early April, that people can come by and see what it's about. You are required to get training before every election. So if you say, I don't know what to do, that's okay. We'll train you. We'll even have some office lab hours that you can do to come play on the equipment if you didn't feel comfortable after training. And we have different positions available, right? We have everything from deputy to somebody checking the IDs and the signatures to just issuing the ballots on election day. So hopefully we have something for everyone. But it's really a great way to come and see the process and really see how seriously we take everything, with making sure that all of our numbers work at the end of the night, checking the numbers throughout the day to make sure that the number of people that have checked in equal the number of ballots that have been tabulated in the machine. We're checking that throughout the day to make sure there aren't any issues, and hopefully if there is something, they can resolve it before they get to the end of the night and they're trying to do their final numbers. So again, especially with Escambia County and Florida, if we're one ballot off, we want to know why. Yeah. So it is a long day. I will let them know it is 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. It is paid. We just increased our it's almost like a stipend for the day, and so we'll have all that information for them. But hopefully, if they're interested in doing it, we have over 600 election workers that serve the community and do this. And some have been, we just handed out some service recognitions, and some of them had over 30 years of service. So, again, something we couldn't do without them. If it's something you're interested in, please reach out to us. We can answer some questions and give you the dates when we get those set.
I didn't realize it was paid. That's great. You want to volunteer and serve the community and get paid for it too? Hey.
Yeah, it's probably about 100. I think our lowest is about $195 a day for the election day, and that includes some of that training that you have to do before the election.
My wife didn't tell me she was getting paid for it. She's
sucking that money for a rainy day.
Okay, all righty, y'all. Let's talk about the election again for 2026 and the primary and the general election, and we'll go over that again so folks understand where we're at and where we come from and what to look forward to in 2026.
Sure. So August 18th, that primary election, the deadline to register or change your party, July 20th, and then the deadline to request that vote by mail is August 6th. You can still come into our office and pick one up after that. We just can't mail it to you per the statutes. And then, of course, the big general election, November 3rd. The deadline to register, again, party doesn't matter. In the general election, everyone's getting the same ballot from your precinct. That's October 5th, with the deadline for that request to vote by mail, October 22nd. Now, for early vote, again, as I said, we had 50% of the voters chose that option in 24 general election. We'll do a mandatory 8 days for the primary, a Saturday to Saturday. And then for the general election, we'll be open for 13 days from that, a Monday to the following Saturday. We're open Sundays and for that one Sunday for both of those. So hopefully if you're not going to be around on election day, it's a very similar process. Instead of having only one ballot type, you come in, they'll print your ballot style right there. So depending on where you live, you'll get the right ballot. You'll mark it and you'll put it in the machine to tabulate just like you do on election day. Very similar experience, but I know a lot of people like to go on election day for that experience.
Yeah, I'm an election day voter myself. I not that I don't believe in mail-in ballots or voting early, stuff like that, but I like to go in person. And you know what I do? I take my grandchild with me and my children, to all of my children. I had 2 children. I always take them with me to vote so they can experience the opportunity to vote. And I took my grandbaby there last year. And you know what? And I thank you, because they had ballots for the children, so the children can use their own ballots and experience the opportunity of voting. Yeah, I thought that was real cute and neat.
And they get the sticker. So.
And they get a sticker, yeah.
And that's what we do. So we're actually getting ready to go into, I think 7 or 8 schools and do their sunshine readers, where they get to vote on their favorite book. And so I usually try to tell them that this is a very similar experience to what your parents would be doing when they go to vote. And so go home, tell them that you did it, that it was easy, that they need to go vote this year. And ask them to take you with them, because those are some of the memories that I remember that my parents taking me in. That was back when you had to draw the curtain and everything else, not quite as easy as we do it today. But it's an experience for them. But again, it's they get and they see you doing it and they want to do it too.
Absolutely.
The 18 to 25 demographic is our second largest demographic behind 65 and older, and it is historically our lowest percent turnout.
Is that right? Wow.
And so I usually will start with with a group of college kids or high schoolers, and I'll say, all right, who likes to have their parents and grandparents make decisions for them? Because when you don't go vote, that is what you're doing, right? You are letting your parents and grandparents make your decision for you. And so we want to let everyone who has the ability to vote to get out and vote. And so I think that's important. So it's great to teach them that. We appreciate that. We get the sticker, and yeah, we have a little card for them to choose candidate A, B, C, D, or E, I think it is. So, but and also we the election workers, they'll do a good job. If it's someone's first time voting, you may get a little announcement that it's your first time voting and get some cheers from everybody in the precinct.
Yeah. Now let's summarize the methodologies of voting. Okay, I think there's basically three, but I want to let them hear it from the supervisor election himself how they can go out and vote.
Sure. So one option is the vote by mail. Again, you have to make that request every election cycle. Call the office 850-595-3900 if you want to make that request. You can go online. The ballot will come to you. You'll sign it. We'll match the signature. And again, we are trying to implement some things right now where you will get notifications when your ballot gets sent. You can track it through the Postal Service, and then you'll be able to track it on its way back to us, let it know when it comes there. We also update our little portal that lets you know when it's been received, so you can see that it's been counted and check its status. We have our early voting, and you can go to any one of our 10 sites across the county for early voting. That's usually the Saturday to Saturday, or again, for the general election, November 3rd, it'll be the Monday to the following Saturday, 13 days. You can go to any one of those locations, cast your ballot, and your vote will be counted right then. And then, of course, the last is Election Day, August 18th for the primary, November 3rd for the general election, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And you have to go to your election site, your precinct, in order to vote.
Okay, one last question. If one is running for office, is it too late to register? What's the deadline to register to run for office?
Great question. It's not too late. So we've had some candidates come in the last week to pre-file. And so, as I say, you're getting to test the waters. You get to go raise some money, maybe see how your candidacy is accepted across your constituency. But then in June, you have to qualify. And that's bringing in some financial disclosures and some other forms. And that's when we set the ballot to see who's going to be on the ballot. So it's not too late to pre-file. Qualifying ends on June 12th. It's that week. So June 8th to June 12th, noon to noon. And then you can also come in 2 weeks before that to pre-qualify, as they say, and then we'll process it that day. So, we give somebody 3 weeks to come in and complete all the paperwork. But I will say we have some information on our website for potential candidates that they can go and we have we did a PowerPoint presentation. We just have some general information. If they have any questions, give us a call. I would say this, though. Don't wait to the last minute, because there are some things like you have to, if there's a qualifying fee, you have to pay it from a checking account with your candidacy. And sometimes you go to a bank and they don't have those starter checks anymore, or you have trouble finding a bank that will open your account. So again, just leave some time to do everything. You don't want to be last minute. But I say, if anybody has any questions, they're welcome to come by, give me a call. I'll talk to them. I want to make sure that they're informed, but I also tell everyone what we talk about stays between us, because people need to be able to come to this office and ask questions to make informed decisions and not be worried that we're going to be the start of rumors. So, right. And that's the important thing is that somebody's making an informed decision about this. And it does take some work. You have to follow your finances, and at the end of the candidacy, your contributions need to equal your expenditures, right? Even if you ended up giving it to a nonprofit to get rid of some extra cash that you may have had, we still need to make sure that matches and the reports are done. So but you can get help, and we're here to help. That's the important thing, right? So our job is to give you the tools and the information that you need to run for office and help you, and then ultimately let the voters decide who's going to represent them.
Okay, folks, this is Mr. Robert Bender, your supervisor election for Escambia County, and I want to thank you for taking your time out and giving us this information. Is there anything else you want to wrap up?
No, I just, August 18th primary, November 3rd general election. Typically this is a gubernatorial cycle. We usually see our turnout go down a little bit from the 76% we had for the presidential cycle. But the last, in 2018, when we had an open gubernatorial, we had 61%. Usually we're in that lower to mid 50s. So I just encourage everyone to get out and vote this year. Because your voice is your vote.
Absolutely. Mr. Bender, thank you so much for agreeing to come on and let our viewers and listeners hear directly from the supervisor. And don't be a stranger. This station is open for you. Anytime that you need to get information out about voting, don't hesitate to reach out to me. We'll be glad to pass it on to you. And anytime you want to come on and express your views about information about voting, you got an open invitation.
I appreciate it, and thank you so much for having me. Yes, I'd love to come back on right before we start doing our early vote and those deadlines come. So make sure everybody gets registered and can vote in the election on August 18th and November 3rd. And look at this next guest. I think you're going to have a great time with him.
Say, do you know this guy here?
Hey, Robert, how are you?
Morning, Sheriff. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. Yeah.
All right, Robert, thank you so much. I really appreciate your effort there, okay?
Thank you, sir. Have a great morning.
All right, y'all. Good morning. 8:30, Escambia County Sheriff Office with our Sheriff, Chip Salmon. Good morning, Chip. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Vernon?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to see you. Are you braving this cold weather that we've been having lately?
Oh, well, this is cool weather compared to where I've been. I had the last 2 weekends I had been in. Well, the first weekend I was in St. Johns County over Point Vedra for our Florida Sheriff's Conference, Winter Conference, and then I was in Washington D.C. the last weekend, and it was cold up there, covered with snow and ice. And I got back here, and I'm like, hey, I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt. I can deal with just a jacket.
The mayor said the same thing. He said, well, I've been all over and I tell you, this has some unprecedented weather. And I was reporting this morning that I believe it was AB, somebody reported that it's going to get even colder. This wave coming up, it's going to be colder than what the other one was. Can we handle that? I don't know.
Yeah. We're a resilient people, so we certainly can handle it. But you know what? Yeah, I haven't heard the extending forecast. I can see right now on my computer on my wall it says 51 degrees, so it's warming up quite nicely here. That's why we live in Florida, right? Because we don't have to deal with all those frozen temperatures. And I remember, I will tell you this: I was in Washington D.C. and I've been there before, and a lot of people have been there. And we went to the Lincoln Memorial, as we always do, and the reflecting pond was frozen over, and people were playing hockey on the what was supposed to be the reflecting pond, but it was the ice. And so yeah, it was cold down there. But again, flew back day before yesterday. First day of work back yesterday, trying to get caught up with everything, but things are going very well.
All right. Well, how things going on the law enforcement side in Escambia County? What when the sheriff's out of town? Well, you know what they say, when the sheriff gone, they take advantage. They know you're out of town.
Well, I had Chief Hobbs stayed here. We have a what they call a pretty strong bench, right? Where if you gotta be out of town, and you do, I don't usually like to go to conferences, but a lot of stuff going on. In the state conference that we went to, we talked a lot about what the implications of property tax reform and what that's going to matter. A lot of times we talked about little changes to some statutes with some minimum mandatories, with some so just some changes and some differences in some of the laws and what that might impact how we do our job. So that's important to make sure we have contact with our other elected, our state level leaders. Then I was able to meet with, on the same day, I met with Jimmy Patronis, who's our congressman, Senator Ashley Moody, and Senator Rick Scott on the same day, and really just reconfirm their commitment to public safety and reconfirm their commitment to the state of Florida. And I could not be more pleased with the group of people that we have representing us and in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, very good. All right, it's 2026. Are there any new laws that we need to be aware of as far as law enforcement is concerned and traffic and that stuff like that?
Well, there's the super speeder law that actually took effect, I think, last July, where if you're going over 100 miles an hour, it can be a criminal offense. You could be taken to jail. The discretion is with the deputy or the police officer or the trooper as to whether they put the handcuffs on you. And I know that some of the South Florida agencies have been locking people up. But the rest of the bills are still kind of floating through either the House of Representatives or the Senate side, and they're likely to get changed here and there before the end of the session itself. So I can't tell you what laws are going to affect us right now because, again, we pay our representatives and our senators to go through all that, and they have a lot of their legal teams are looking at things. And then they will make the best choice, what they think is the best choice for the state. And then the governor has to sign it. So I can't tell you that there's a law right now. I can simply tell you that again, the super speeder law last year. But other than that, I think most of the attention is on the property tax reform and it's on insurance reform. As you know, the price of insurance has just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And so we have to make sure that we're making some wise decisions on the state level. Then on a national level, they avoided a shutdown, I think, at least temporarily, and they're working on doing the same thing with pharmaceuticals, and it can be frustrating at times, when you read all the bad news. But then I guess whenever you finally hear that there's just people that are working on it, it gives you hope, and we live in a hopeful environment. I certainly live in a hopeful environment. I think if you work hard enough, then hope and good things will follow.
Yeah, I think 2 points I want to make on the insurance. I think some relief is on the in sight for the insurance, because I was reading the other day about in state of Florida, and the insurance company now have applied, showing that they were reducing their rates. But I want to get back to your super speeders law and just kind of a funny story I think I read about. And something you just said earlier about, did you say that if somebody violates the super speeders law, it's discretional on the officer's part to arrest them or not? I know it's severe penalties for it, but they don't have to go to jail. Did I hear you say that?
That's correct. We have what's called a notice to appear. So
notice to appear. Okay.
And we do that around here a lot, where just because it's a criminal violation, it's easier if we just say, hey, you're going to have to show up at whatever date that they establish. Rather than take you to the jailhouse and then you make bond and the jail's already filled up. So it seems like
exactly.
In some situations that if we can be assured that you'll show up, then we will give you, again, what is called a notice to appear. The criminal level is the same, and the ramifications are likely the same, but they don't actually have to put the cuffs on you and take the time to take you out to the jail and do the paperwork over there.
Okay, so I want you to hold your point, because I got a question for you about notice to appear and some community violations. Okay, but I want to get back to the super speeder law. And I know you probably heard this story about this guy was speeding down. I don't know whether it was in Florida or where it was, but I think it's the state of Florida. He was going way over 100 miles an hour, and his scat cat, these darn scat cats, they're supposed to be the super speeders of all of the cars.
Right.
The state trooper had a Mustang facing him, saw him speed, flipped around, and the guy knew he'd fallen in, so his scat cat gonna try to outrun him, but this Mustang caught up with this scat cat, and it was kind of, which is, if you're in the car world, you wouldn't expect a Mustang to outrun one of those Dodger Scat Cats. So did you hear about that story? I thought that was a cute little story.
I have not. I'm wondering if they didn't call for some backup, especially when you're on the interstate or on one of those high speed type of roads. There's not a place to get off, especially if you're in a high performance car. I know that like on Interstate 10, when I was working at the Pensacola Police Department years ago, that people would get on right there at Cervantes Street and they wouldn't slow down until they got up there to the junction up there at Interstate 10. But we knew you only had two chances to get off at the time. You got off at Fairfield, you got off at Brent, and they're a couple miles in between. So we can get a deputy, or back then we were able to get a police car. Hey, stand by in Fairfield. You stand by on Brent Lane, and we gonna catch this person getting off somehow, because they're gonna slow down one of those two places to get off, or they're gonna slow down up at the curve, right, or not make the curve, unfortunately. So yeah, that may have been what helped them catch this person. And some of it's just driver's ability. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with a car that you're not used to driving very fast.
Well, yeah. Well, they claim this wasn't the case of Motorola catching him, or they claim he was proud of it. And I saw it in even in a national news story that he was kind of proud of his Mustang. He flipped around and actually caught him and pulled him over, and they was in their speeds of 160 miles an hour. Ooh. And yeah. So
yeah, I don't know that I want my deputies doing 160 miles an hour. That's a little bit high. I don't think I want to get them over 100 miles an hour, really. But because really, what roads around here you can be able to go over 100 miles an hour for an extended period of time?
Well, it was on the interstate.
Yeah.
State troopers, yeah.
I guess I can see it on the interstate, but even then, over 100 miles an hour is awful dangerous for other cars in the roadway. So yeah, that's. But I had not heard that story.
Well, you know what they say, those Dodge Scat Cats and those high-performing Mustang can pass everything on the road except a gas station.
Yeah, you hit that accelerator enough, that gas is gonna go down quickly.
Okay, listen, I want to diverse a little bit when you're saying about the a notice to appear. This is just me now. And you were talking about filling up the jails and everything. I noticed that in community crimes, nonviolent crimes like prostitution and johns and stuff like that, they get locked up. Why don't they just give them a notice and appear? What? Because you don't lock up the jail. Why? Can you help me with that?
There are certain limitations on giving notices to appear.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been given a notice to appear before, if you failed to appear before, then you're not eligible for a notice to appear. There are certain crimes, battery, domestic violence, that you can't do a notice to appear. Typically on the prostitution, they could do the notice to appear, but a lot of times they already have had in their past a failure to appear for a court. So it doesn't do you any good. If I stop someone and I say, you know what, I could give them a notice to appear, I could take them to the jail, and I look at their history and they've not shown up for the last couple of times they've been given a notice to appear. So there's options like the options are limited with cases like that.
Okay, I got another question for you. And this is television drama stuff that I want to clear up the myth about. And then this came up in the case of Don Lemon. People wanting to turn themselves in. Is that an option if you get committed of a crime or being investigated? You can call them up and say, "Well, I want to turn myself in." Is that the real thing?
Yeah. We have a warrant section, and a lot of times, especially for misdemeanors or smaller level crimes, we will let them notify them, hey, or that you got a warrant coming or a warrant is pending, and this is the bond on it. It helps everyone if you just turn yourself in. We do that quite a bit. Now on felonies, typically we'll go and pick them up, but on misdemeanors, and I understand that may have been a misdemeanor, this is, hey, I just let me know whenever you get the warrant signed, and we'll turn themselves in. A lot of times that helps the judge, not the judge, but the jail as well. They have rapid intake, which the thought there is that you don't have to get classified. You don't have to change into a jumpsuit. You don't have to do all this other stuff just to bond out. So you can go to a different area. They still fingerprint you. They still photograph you, but they can do it at another area and then the bondsman can wait there with you, or you can just pay your cash bail, whichever way you want to do that. And I'm assuming that's what he chose to do. And while there's no obligation on the law enforcement side, it's certainly beneficial to everyone.
Let me ask you this then: how they notify if they want to turn themselves? If they didn't know, if I didn't know I had a warrant for my arrest, and you're gonna give me the option to turn myself in, how am I notified without them serving the warrant on me?
Well, a lot of times it depends. They can call you if they have the phone number. A lot of times you have an interaction with law enforcement, and they'll get the information from you, phone numbers, addresses, that sort of thing, and they have to have it to get a warrant on you in the first place, right? So we have that information, and then we submit an affidavit to the judge, to a judge for review, and then they'll sign it. We already have that information to make the phone call, to even text you and say, hey, you remember that case we're working on? There is a warrant for you. In some cases, I don't know if we've done it in a while, they will send, they used to send postcards for all the misdemeanor warrants out there. They'd send it to the location, say you need to contact the sheriff's office because there's a warrant for you. And you would know, there's a scam going around where people calling, oh, you got a warrant for you, got to pay $1,000 in Bitcoin, which is nonsense. We're not going to do any of that. But I do think that this was back in the day where you would get a postcard and that you're a suspect in a crime. You had an interaction with law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? If an individual gets stopped for shoplifting and they take the pork chop from your belt, inside your pants, and they give it back to the store and they let you go, say, hey, we're gonna have to send this to a judge. A couple weeks later, you get a call from a policeman. You did it. That it's legitimate. And so you can make arrangements to get turn yourself in the case that you're talking about. Because otherwise, think about this: you're driving to a concert with your family, and you run a stop sign, and then a cop stops you and runs you for warrants and takes you to jail. Right in front of your family. Exactly. Because they have to. A warrant is an order from a judge for a law enforcement officer. Remember, in order to take you into custody, you are commanded to take this person into custody.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not something that we can just decide to do away with. When there's
It's
a
not
warrant,
optional.
there's no notice to appear on a warrant. A warrant is to be served.
Okay, now, as technology advances, so does crooks. Okay. Now, the reason I asked that question, I ask it for a reason, because sometimes we get a lot of information about people being scammed, and I want you to tell the folks what to do and not to do. Let's take my scenario. Just suppose I do have a legitimate warrant, and maybe I don't have a legitimate warrant, but I get a phone call from somebody saying they represent the sheriff department. I got a warrant, but this time they saying that you need to appear, but if you go down to the 7-Eleven, get a cash card or give me some money, then that'll take care of the situation. That's a scam situation. So let's talk about the difference between the legitimate call and a scam call so folks won't be scammed.
Right. Well, I think that the first thing you do is you evaluate whether it's conceivable, right? Remember, I mentioned that if you were stopped or if you're in a domestic situation, or Don Lemon, he knew they were looking for a warrant. He knew that he had an interaction. He knew that something may be coming around. So that's the first case. Is it conceivable at all? And then the second thing is ask questions. The sheriff's office, let me tell you something, Chip Simmons is not going to call you and tell you to stop by, to your point, the 7-Eleven and buy Bitcoin or buy gift cards and pay your fine. That's not going to happen. It makes no sense.
Pay it with your debit card over the phone.
Yeah. Just give me your card number with that little number in the back too. Give me all that stuff. And oh yeah, stay on the phone with me is what they do. Because they don't want you to call legitimate law enforcement. They say stay on the phone with them, and that obviously is something that it sounds fishy. We put out something a couple of days ago about these scams where people would rent houses they don't own. Right? They look on a house and see this for sale and say, hey, yeah, I'll rent that house for you. And then you got to, but there's indicators there as well. There's pressure for, you got to do it within 3 hours because I got another guy that's going to rent the house in 3 hours, and you got to pay him gift card because that's the only way I can get my money right away. And no, we don't need to talk to each other in person. We'll just do it over the phone. Or I'll give you this house on the beach for $100 a week. Just give me a $100 gift card. All these things are indicators of fraud and of scams. And again, if it's too good to be true, if it seems too good to be true, it probably
That's
is.
true. Yeah. Now, what do one do in situation like what you advise them to do if they suspect scam?
Oh, I'd love for them to give us a call because nothing does me. I'm an old undercover police officer, right? So nothing makes me happier than to contact someone or say, "Oh yeah, I'll do it, but I do have to meet with you. I'll give you the gift cards," and then bust them, because
Yeah.
you don't own the house or you don't do this. We love to arrest individuals like that or just try to take people's hard-earned money
Yeah.
and steal it. Just
Yeah.
steal it. That nothing makes us feel better than to get in, protecting the vulnerable, and to make
Yeah.
sure that the people that are responsible for this see their day in court and get held accountable.
Yeah. I advise them to hang up. If you do have a legitimate warrant, they'll call you back. Trust me.
Yeah. Well, or you
And
can call our
I,
dispatcher and a non-emergency number, and they'll tell you if there's a warrant for you. They'll
right.
tell you legitimately.
Exactly. That's what we encourage people to do. When they get these suspicious calls, just hang up on the individual and verify it legitimately. And if there is, you take care of it. But most of the time, it's going to be scamming. Hey, let me tell you what happened to me, Chip. True story. True story. I had a scammer that called me about my American Express card, or no, PayPal card. And he said, well, we got a local office here. You need to go down and take care of that. I said, where's your local office? I wasn't aware of no local office of PayPal. He said, yeah. And he gave me his address. And I found it was a dollar store. He said, well, you got to go to this gift card. And I played along with him a little bit. And then I kind of had to curse him out when I turned, got tired of playing the game. Then you know what he had the nerve to ask me? Why did I go wrong at? I said, man,
Yeah,
I
well,
couldn't.
I'm not going to help you. Yeah. Well, and I've gotten those calls too, and I mess with them a little bit as well. It's okay. Meet me at this store at this time, and in my mind, they're out there for an hour or 2 hours, and then they realize this guy's on to me.
Yeah.
Me now, I would go ahead and contact him and put him under arrest. But a lot of times, here's the thing, Vernon, as you probably can imagine, they don't even live here. That's why they won't meet you.
Exactly.
They live in Indonesia somewhere, and that's why it's so difficult to actually catch them. That's why the FBI is having a difficult time catching these people because certainly a local law enforcement, we're not going to Indonesia, we're not going to Milan to try to pick somebody up. That's not worth our time, and we really don't have any jurisdiction over there, so we can't do that. But so that's what the thing is. A lot of times they're somewhere else. They just play a big game. They meet. Hey, I'm part of this gang, and I don't make me send my gang members to you. All right, buddy. If you're really part of a gang, you wouldn't be trying to scam me out of a gift card.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, we won't, because I read story after story how the vulnerable, the older people get scammed out of their money. So y'all make sure you pass this information on because it's just people lose their life savings over dumb stuff that they shouldn't have.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases because of scammers pretend like they're family members in need, pretend like they've got a problem with their home mortgage or something. It's sad.
Yeah. Well, another typical one is that you're on vacation, your son is on vacation, and they scam you. They need money, they got put in a jail.
Yep.
All that scam stuff. But anyway, I just want to make sure we address the scam issue because a lot of people are affected, even sophisticated people, you think you're above being scammed. You need to think again because sometimes these criminals are smarter than you. And you can get some of the best people in the world can be scammed. Okay.
Well, it's because they have just enough information. They have just enough facts about you because on the internet, you can almost find a lot of information. Well, you can find a lot of information on people. And like you said, you can talk about family members. You can talk about, and a lot of times people do go on vacation and they'll call them, hey, you on a vacation here to DC and you failed to pay this bill. So you're going to need to, get a gift card or pay me in Bitcoin now. All that's nonsense. But just be aware that there are scammers out there. And I assume everything's a scam. You have to prove me otherwise.
Yeah. Chip, you mentioned something that's very important. And just you saying you went to Washington, D.C. on vacation. People got to be very careful about what they put out on social media. They put all of their business on social media. I'm going out of town. I'll be gone for 2 weeks. And You're telling a criminal, my house is unprotected for 2 weeks, or they can use all of that information against you. Please be careful about what you put out on social media. People put all the business out there. Why?
Yeah, you got to. Well, when I go out of town, I have family members watching my house, and I have alarms everywhere and cameras everywhere. But I will tell you that there are people that will go out of town, and like you said, well, I'll be here in California for 2 weeks, and people, oh, okay, I know where that person lives. They know they're going for 2 weeks. So I again, I think it was worse back in the day before people had so many security cameras and all the alarm systems that people have now. But we always tell people in all of our classes, we tell people, don't tell your life story. Don't tell everyone that you're going to be out of town. Don't tell people you just got a brand new Rolex watch and you're going to the beach, and you put your watch in the car. Don't tell people all that stuff, because there are people that are paying attention and they're wanting to make you a victim.
All right, Chip. I enjoy these conversations, Michael. We learn a lot from you. Let me let you wrap it up on anything that you probably want to get out, and I'll talk to you today. So
I think that's it. I think that people remember there's a Crime Stoppers number, 433-STOP. We cannot ask you your name. So, and it doesn't even have to be a homicide. It doesn't have to be a robbery. It can be someone that's got drugs that we're selling drugs, an operation going on. You can give them a call, and then someone at the Crime Stoppers office looks at it and says, okay, this goes to Escambia County Narcotics. This goes to Pensacola Police Narcotics. This goes to investigations. This goes to homicide. Let us know what's going on, because it's the only way that we can all be safe.
Last thing, folks, you got jobs out there for folks at the Escambia County, sworn and unsworn jobs?
We're always hiring. We're always advertising for jobs. We're doing a very good job of recruiting for deputies. But if you want a career in law enforcement, and whether you want to be a sworn deputy, crime scene, whether you want to be a dispatcher, whether you want to be one of our non-sworn positions, pull us up on the internet, because we are a great place to work as a career, and we have great retirement benefits and education benefits.
Yeah, very good. Chip, thank you. I appreciate you coming on every Friday. If you're not on, you're some able-bodied person to talk to us about what's happening at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office. I always want to say department, but office is Sheriff's Office. So y'all remember that. Okay.
That's right. All right, Vernon. Take care, buddy.
Thank you now. All right, y'all. That's Sheriff Chip Simmons, y'all, of Escambia County Sheriff's Office. Always involved, always informative, and always there to answer the questions for. And he's a very accessible sheriff. And I really appreciate that in our sheriff and in our law enforcement office as well. All right, y'all. It is, man, time flies when you're having fun. We had a great week. I'll be on again next week. I want to give you a forewarning. Sometime in March, middle of March, I'm going to take a well-needed vacation, and I'm probably violating the same rule I just asked Chip about, putting stuff on social media. But I have to tell you this, because we're not going to be on for 1 week in March because of a pre-planned vacation that I'm and a well-deserved vacation I'm going to take. But we might run some of the best of. But don't worry about that. We still talking about a month to 45 days, a month out right now. Sometime late in March that's going to happen. But anyway, I want you to tell everybody about this show. The purpose of this show, is I'm trying to, and I don't take credit for this show. I give all the credit to Robert Hill. Robert Hill has been doing the Hill in the Morning show since he was here. Okay, he came here in 1991, and it's great. He passed on great information. I'm trying to carry on his legacy for the community, because the community come to expect to know what's going on in their community. And so I'm here to try to help you. I also want to let you know that we have a radio station and a TV station. We are Actually, we don't do, the government don't give us money, y'all, to do this stuff. Somebody have to pay for this stuff, and I would appreciate it if you were to advertise or recommend people for advertising with this station so we can continue to be on there. We have to pay bills like everybody else, tower rent, gas bill, light bill, TV show, those monitors back there. They pull a lot of electricity, y'all. You pull a lot of electricity. So we have to pay bills as well. But we want to earn. We want to earn your respect. I want to promote your business here on WBQP TV /radio. And so encourage folks to do that. If you got something of community interest that needs to be passed on, feel free to give me a call or text me. You rather don't call me. Just text me at 850-293-5007 or either email your information to WBQP@WBQP.com. If you're familiar with Gmail, just go to WBQPTV@gmail.com. Okay, and put up your flyers and everything. But however, if you're going to have an event that you're going to make some money on, it's just only a small fee for that. It's only like $20 if you're going to make money on it. If you got an event, you're going to make money. If you're not a nonprofit organization, you got something that you want to pass on. But otherwise, you want to do commercial advertising on both the TV side and the radio side, where we can produce you a 30-second commercial or 15-second commercial and run you continuously 3 or 4 times a day. We got great rates for that as well. If you are a minister and you want to get your word out to the community, this is the station that you need to be on. WBQP, the station that cares. The only wholly owned, okay, I want to quote that, wholly owned black media in Pensacola, okay? When I came into business, we had 7 8. I'm the last wholly owned, black-owned media standing in Pensacola. And I certainly wish, and we've been around for almost 35 years, and I appreciate your support so we can continue this legacy and have another 35 years. So when I pass on, I hope my son will take my place as my legacy. All right, y'all, I got to get out of here. My time is up, and I'll see you next week. We got another week of great programming and information to pass on to you with great guests and so forth. So thank y'all for listening, and we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend, y'all. And go to church, okay? Go to church Sunday. When you go to church, you tell Pastor that I sent you to church, okay? He would appreciate that. All right, y'all. Love you. See you next week.
It's time for Mornings with Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. Get up now. Come on now. Get up. For Mornings with Vernon. Get up now. Let's go.